Royal babe, what if your fantasies are actually blocking you from the destiny that God has for you? What is this spirit of fantasy or this maladaptive daydreaming in the first place? So this is her. She's in reality in the first place. And then we see what happens. She's thinking. She's somewhere else. She's not here anymore. Fantasizing, imagining. See? It's so interesting. It was crazy because I thought it was a thing that only me I did. And I didn't even know it was that deep. But let's find out why it's deep. Let's watch another person. When you have been maladaptive daydreaming since you were young to cope, and then you realize years have gone by and you've done nothing with your life, never pursued your goals because you were so stuck in your head. It's so crazy. You are so stuck in that same place. You're so stuck in that past, or you're so stuck in the future that you think you want to have, the fantasy, that unicorn that you want so bad. It's actually really crazy. And what I've noticed is that the enemy often uses fantasy, right, to keep people from stepping into their true calling. He will whisper lies, oh, your real life would never be as good as the fantasy. Your real life will never be as good as the one in your head. So you're like, why should I even try? Songs is such a trigger, especially secular songs. It's literally such a trigger because those secular songs, it creates a certain kind of atmosphere that feeds the spirit of fantasy. So it makes you feel like, oh, you are that girl. Especially if a song's glorifying the woman, right? Oh, you are that girl. I could have these guys, or these guys are vying for me. But it's not really the case. It's just the song that is making you feel that way. And then you start to believe this is what I want. When in reality, if it was to actually happen, you wouldn't want it. Sometimes me, for instance, I didn't even know. I usually just realized it. Sometimes a trigger from a song or even a certain smell, right? It could make me go into nostalgia mode. And then I start daydreaming about the things that were, even though it was not the case at all. It wasn't like that at all, but I start to see it with rose-tinted glasses. Hasn't it been like that with all your past relationships, guys? We start to view them in rose-tinted glasses. And it's so dangerous, right? Because it lets you live in the past instead of the present, making you believe the past was better. Oh, the good old days, when there was nothing good about it. Or maybe 1% good, but then the rest was terrible. And you shouldn't even want to go back there. You may think the past was better than it actually was. So you start to text your exes or something like that. And then you might actually go back into a relationship with them and you realize what I was thinking was not the case at all. Because it's just a fantasy, daydreaming. And I've noticed romantic books. Oh my gosh, it's such a trigger. And I just love fictional books so much. I read a lot. But then I've realized that most of what I read is romantic fiction, right? Instead of me reading finance books of things that is going to open my mind, I'm always about the fiction. And it's such a trigger because I start to daydream about my dream man, my ideal type. Guys. So if you've not watched it yet, watch my previous video before this video. You will see Kim Soo-hyun, right, who has been convicted or alleged to have groomed a 15-year-old. He used to be my ideal type too, because I would watch his K-dramas, his movies, My Love from the Star, Moon Embracing the Sun, Queen of Tears, and be like, oh, this is the kind of man I want, daydreaming about it. But then in reality, they may not even be like that. It's just not real. I daydream about my dream man because of these Korean dramas, these movies, these books, and how much he would love me, my dream man. But then because of that, I actually don't pull myself out there. I've never actually been in a relationship, always talking stages or situationships. So I've always been afraid to put myself out there because I was afraid of relationships and getting hurt. I'm not that girl anymore. Glory be to God. But if you want to know more, watch my video, Daddy Issues. I was afraid of getting into a relationship and getting hurt. But then I still wanted to feel that, oh, my dream man loves me. He's going to love me. I still wanted to feel it, even though I was afraid to be in that situation. And because I'm a writer, I have such a creative mind. So it makes it even worse. So that's why consuming all these kind of romantic media like Pride and Prejudice and The Notebook, after movie, I made a video on it. It's just so toxic. But they make it appear to be so romantic. So if you're in a relationship, it makes your own relationship feel like it's inadequate when it's just unrealistic. Sometimes I hate so much where I am. And it's a coping mechanism, like that girl said. I hate so much where I am that I start to daydream about the dream life that I could have, especially when I look at other influencers. And I spoke about it in my video on comparison also. When I look at other influencers or other people who have grown faster than me on YouTube, or other people my age who are doing better. So because of that, you start to become ungrateful and unappreciative of real life and what you have, how far you've gone, how far God has brought you, because it's not where you want to be, or you're expecting something else. And it's so toxic because I've recently moved to Manchester. And guys, sometimes even other people's testimonies make you feel like, oh, this is how God is going to do it for me. And you cannot put God in a box. So my move to Manchester, before I moved here, I kept quite longer than I should have, because I was watching other people's testimonies of how God just provided them with a luxury 2-bedroom house and no credit checks, no checking their finances. I'm like, oh my gosh, God is going to do it for me out of nowhere. But God wanted me to step out first. So later in October, I was like, nah, I have to. I kept doubting. I got a video about disobedience, and I was like, nah, I really have to. I may not have what I want it to be or how I think it should be based on other people's testimonies or stories or how I think God should do it. But then God is telling me to move. So like Abraham, I'm just going to move, even if I don't know what exactly I'm doing. And so, yes, I did. And where I'm living, it's not where I wanted to be, but at least God has done this for me. Compared to where you were 1 year ago or 5 years ago, are you the same person? So when you compare yourself to others or daydreaming about a life that you think you should have, when it's not God's purpose for you. My birthday is coming up. And I sometimes feel so sad because I'm like, oh my gosh, looking at other influencers traveling and doing this and the significant others doing this for them. I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, I want to be spoiled. I want to have my months. I want to have all this for my birthday. But then I don't have it. And so I start to feel unfulfilled and ungrateful. And it's so sad. It's so bad because you never know what they're going through behind the scene. Look at Diddy and Carisha and Sweetie and that her baby daddy and what's her name? Ari and Jada and all their baby daddies who kept cheating on them. Yet they'll buy them such luxury presents and whatever. Is that the kind of life I want to have? No. So don't be comparing yourself to others based on watching other people, romantic books, and start to daydream when your life right now, somebody even wish they could have it. You start to idolize the life that you could have or the person you could have. And then you start to take your mind off of him. If God is not the main character in your world, right, and you make yourself the main character based on movies you've seen or songs you've seen or whatever, that could be a sign that you're dealing with the spirit of fantasy. And it also creates insecurity in you because you think you are not where you should be. Let's watch a video of this girl. She really thought us spirit of fantasy.
Hi guys, I want to start this off by saying that if you are a maladaptive daydreamer, meaning you create those fake scenarios in your head and you don't see a problem with it, your life is amazing, you're feeling good, you don't want to stop, then by all means, please keep scrolling. But for those of you who know that you need to stop, that is actually causing harm, you want to take more control of your mind, or even if you're just genuinely curious as to why it is a problem, let's talk about it. Ever since I was a child, I've used my imagination as a form of escapism. I would come up with all sorts of insane scenarios, things that a child should not be thinking. And I thought that it was just like some weird thing that I did and that I would grow out of it.
26 and I've never grown out of it yet. But I have in Jesus' name.
A couple of years ago, 2021, I believe that I found out that there was actually a term for this and that other people do it as well. And I just recently learned that it's also called the spirit of fantasy. And if you're not the type of person that gets into all of that, it's okay. It's still a problem and it needs to be dealt with. And the first step in fixing a problem is realizing that it is even a problem in the first place. And yes, it is a coping mechanism, but that does not mean that it is a good one. Drinking is a coping mechanism. Is it a good one? Smoking is a coping mechanism. Is it a good one? How do you know if it is a problem? If you were talking to someone and they said, tell me about yourself. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun? And you wouldn't tell them that you like to spend hours in your head, lying in bed, creating unrealistic, crazy scenarios. And it is not something that you're proud of. And it's not something that you want people to know. If you're going through the motions of life, you feel like you have no control over anything, no grasp on reality. It literally feels like a simulation. It is a problem. If you are an overly nostalgic person, you constantly miss
seriously,
the past,
it keeps you in the past. And it's crazy because me, for instance, right, I do that a lot and I didn't even know it was maladaptive daydreaming. So I have so many past memories basically of people maybe I used to talk to or things like that or ex-friends. And sometimes I would just bring them up from wherever I've stored them off or stashed them away. I'll just bring them up and I'll be reading them and thinking of how beautiful the past was, especially when I'm bored or especially when I don't like currently where I am. I feel like, God, why are you moving? I'm going to look in the past. The way to punish God, and I want an escape or coping mechanism because I just can't take where I am right now. I just can't deal with it. And so I use this. And it's so insane. So right now here with you guys, I am going to be deleting. Oh my God. I'm going to be deleting my memories, right? It's not going to be all of them, but at least the ones I have here, I'm going to be deleting them. Because it's crazy because just a few days ago, I did it. And then this video idea, actually, one of my little girls gave me this video idea. So thank you, girl. Her name is also Angel. Guys, so this is my script, by the way. So File Explorer. I don't even know where I stored it because I stored it in such a place that it's hard to find. And so when I'm going on this rampant thing to find it, I have to look everywhere for it. And it wastes even more time. I could use it for something else. If I don't delete it with you guys right now, I'll probably go back to it. So I have to. So I found it. I don't just say you guys, but guys, let's do it together. Oh my gosh, truthfully it is. So I've highlighted it. Really? This folder is empty. Now let's go to the recycle bin. Can you believe I actually one day I decided I'm going to delete it, all the memories. And then I actually, oh God, I went online trying to look for those apps, right? Those applications where you can get all your memories back. And I got it all back again. How can God give you the future that He intends for you to have when you are still stuck in the past? Hell no. We are moving forward. So this is the recycle bin. I don't know. Can you see it? Recycle bin, the empty. Are you sure you want to permanently delete? Yes. Recycle bin is empty. Oh. And I actually have a few other places, but those places are harder to find, I guess, if I even remember them. But if I remember them, cross my heart, I'm going to delete them. Because guys, we cannot be stuck no more. God says, move on, move. Tell them to go. When they reach the rest, you're just like, be still and see the glory of God or the power of God. And take, I've forgotten what that verse is, but I'll put it on the screen. And God was like, why are you standing there? Why are you crying to me? Move. So instead of standing there crying about God, why am I still stuck in the same position? God is like, move on, guys. It's our time to move on. And when it comes to relationship, right? Be careful with your relationship list. I know you have one. Do you really need a 7-foot tall man? Do you really need it? What I want you to do, guys, is tear that list and write down only 3 absolute non-negotiables for you. My number 1 absolute negotiable, non-negotiable is he must be a God-fearing Christian. And not just one who just says he's a Christian, actually practicing, somebody who actually loves God, born-again Christian. Number 1, a praying Christian. So just 3 things. You don't need all that 20 list, nah. Because it makes you also start to fantasize. Oh, he could be like this, especially physical characteristics. Of course, we want somebody who we are attracted to, right? Like God would, somebody I'm attracted to. But then having blue eyes and this and that, no, you don't need all that. You really don't. I realized that true fulfillment, right, it comes from having selfless love and all these lust-driven narratives that comes from the media and all those kind of things. And my journey has also taught me that God's timing is the best. And remember that God is preparing the best for last. So your fantasy, right, it may look good, but God has much better for you. And the better may not be what you think it should be based on your fantasy, but it's going to be what suits you, the person God made you to be, and not all these girls that you see online. God made all of us different. There's an influencer that I may want to be like, or want to have the things that she has, but it will not suit me because God made me different. I'm not her, and she's not me. So recently, right, I went to the shop to buy Greg's, right, to buy a sausage roll, and there was a girl in front of me, and then there was only 2 sausage rolls on the shelf, the sieve. I was like, oh my gosh, don't let her buy the sausage roll so I can have my sausage roll. And guess what? She bought all 2 of them. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? What about me then? I was so mad, guys. And then she was when it got to my time, I was like, "Oh, I don't know, God, so should I choose a pizza? I really want a sausage roll though." And then I was like, a sausage roll. And then almost like, oh, 1 minute. And then I waited about 2 minutes. And then she went there, she went to bring a fresh batch, fresh from the oven or that heating thing. And then she brought it there and then she gave it to me. What does this story tell you? Yes, you may see other people getting the things that you want so bad. You may be getting it first and early. But God has a fresh new batch for you. God has a fresh batch for you. It may not be what you wanted before, but what was there before? You don't want it anyway, even though you think you do. God has something new for you, something hot and fresh. But then what happened? You may have to wait. I waited 2 minutes. And sometimes that 2 minutes may be so long. It's so long with YouTube and everything. And I'm like, God, why am I still waiting for my man? Like, where is he? But then God has better for you, new. Not the old thing that you've been fantasizing about, but something new, something that suits you. And also this scenario. So one day I was from work and I was so tired. And then I was trying to get a bus. The time of the bus was 3:20. And I felt like, because a lot of children get that bus to my place. And it's a 1 hour journey. So I was like 3:20, maybe the children have not closed yet, so I can get the bus before they get on. But guess what? When the bus came, I waited 20 minutes for that bus. When it came, I kept doing that. It just passed by. And I was already having a terrible day, guys. Imagine how I felt. And the next bus was at 40 past. And I was like, oh my gosh, if there's bus at 20 past, basically it was full. Then imagine what's going to happen with the other bus. So I had to wait another 10 minutes. It became 15 minutes for the next bus. I was so sad. I was mad at God. What's happening? And then the next bus came. I did that and it stopped. And guess what? Empty. I was like, what? It's 40 past. The children should be on. But no, it's just empty. And the place that I like to sit the most, I have my favorite place, right? Nobody was sitting there. So I had a bus. I had a free, nice ride. The whole ride. Even the whole bus, I think everybody else got the first bus. So then this bus, nobody was on it. And then I got my ride 1 hour home. It's one straight bus to my house from my workplace. And then guess what, guys? Guess what? When my bus got to my bus stop, guess what I saw? The first bus that I missed was there at the same bus stop. How? There's supposed to be like a 20-minute difference. How are you still there? And guess what? When my bus dropped me, it left. And that other bus was still standing there. It was still standing there. The first to be last. The first to be last, not only was I late, right, to start, but I've become the first. I've passed those who were before me. That's how God works. You may feel like you are behind or things are not working for you. What you want is not coming, but God has better for you. And the ones that were last will become first. So don't worry. Let all those fantasies go. Because God has better for you. You may daydream about somebody that you want to be. There's a certain influencer that I kept daydreaming about wanting to be like her. Her name is Gina. I love her so much. Oh my gosh, maybe my life could look like hers. Maybe I can get on the brand trips. She was talking to us about how God gave her the brand trips and things like that. And just so amazing. I was like, maybe God can also do it for me and I can live like that. But then I keep daydreaming about it and then I start feeling unfulfilled with my life. But then who knows? If my life starts to look like hers, it could leave me at a dead end. Because maybe if I got it, I may feel unfulfilled. Because that's not who God called me to be. God called her to represent us Christians in a certain way. And God called me to represent the body of Christ in a different way. No matter how glamorous it looks right now, it's not for you. And that's why you may not have it. Or that's why God may not give it to you. And that future you want so badly, you may not even be ready for it. I don't know if you've seen the stories about Diana and Alyssa, and there was another influencer girl. People were questioning, they went for narcissistic men, right? And people were questioning why women of their status felt their need to go for these narcissistic men that they had to provide for. And that's because they may have reached a certain place, but then their brain does not match where they are. They still have that same old mindset, right? Of that poverty mindset because they grew so fast. So they feel like they are still in the same place. It doesn't match their bank accounts, their mindset. And so they go for similar people with that mindset. But those people know they deserve more. And so they end up destroying them and each other, basically, because those people, that guys that they go for, also start to feel insecure. Even though the girl may feel like, there's nothing to be insecure about, I love you. But the guy knows they deserve more. So maybe that's what God is doing. He's not giving you what you so want so badly because you're not ready for it yet. And if you get it, you will blow it. You'll be destroyed. He doesn't want you to be destroyed. So what should we do now? Practice gratitude daily. That, oh, God, thank you for this. Even if it's one thing, God woke me up. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you that even when I don't have enough money, you still give me, I'm still not lacking. You see? Thank you for the people that you've put in my life. If God doesn't change anything, will you still be okay and grateful with your life right now? Think about it. Compare yourself to 1 year ago. No matter how little, what are 3 things that God has changed in your life? And recognize, like me, for instance, I became an author compared to last year, even though I've not gotten much sales, but I'm so grateful for God. Who am I? You guys, if you want to check it out, check the description below for the book. And how to break these false illusions. Fast, guys, at least for 1 week. And break free from this maladaptive daydreaming. Get rid of your secular songs, only listening to gospel songs that edify God, to remove the attention from you and to God. Because only God deserves the glory anyway. Fast from food, at least if you can't, maybe up till 1 p.m. from in the morning till 1 p.m. So during that time, instead of eating, you are seeking God, praying to God. Fast from all these kind of romantic movies, their songs. Many biblical figures, right? They underwent seasons of preparation. Look at King David, look at Esther, 1 year. Look at Moses, 40 years. Look at Joseph, yes, 15 years. Underwent all that. Joseph, he thought, oh, his mother and father and his brothers are going to bow down to him, but then he went to become a slave. Imagine, even his was real, but then it all got broken. Because probably what he thought is going to be, God had to remove it from his head and bring him something even greater. You are being prepared for God's plan. God is developing your character through the pruning season. These fantasies and the disappointments, it may affect your view of God, but remember that God works for the good of those who love him. So pray to God to prepare you for the future. We demolish arguments. Say this every single day. Every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and I take captive every thought and I make it obedient to God. Every thought that comes into my head, I make it obedient to Christ. Obey the word of Christ. It's for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm and don't let yourself be burdened again by a yoke of slavery or fantasy. Commit to the Lord everything that you do, and he will establish your plans. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things and not fantasies. Start making small but intentional steps towards the life that you want. If you are dreaming about success, relationships, experiences, ask God for wisdom, but take those small steps instead of just imagining them. Like me, I had to move because Wales even before it was too small for who God wants me to be. So if God is telling you to move, those small action steps, take it and seek accountability. Sometimes it's hard, so you need support. So you can let's just interact in the comments below, talking about experiences, and write never again in the comments below. The first 3 people to write never again to maladaptive daydreaming. I'm going to give you a shout out in the next video. Whether it's a mentor, a trusted friend, your pastor, somebody to keep you accountable, and find the root cause. Is it loneliness, rejection, or disappointment that is making you do these things? Know the root causes and say that God, come to God to deal with them. Because there's nothing God cannot do. Pray to God about it so that you can address this kind of fantasies at the source. And with God, there's nothing that is impossible. Here's what some people were saying. My problem is it's gotten so bad, I don't have control over it anymore. Anytime I listen to music, I automatically dissociate and I start daydreaming. Sad. I'm so disconnected from real life in terms of romance too. Someone who doesn't exist is my ideal type, like I said. It's all I have left. God loves you. Let God be everything that you have. When you have God, you have everything. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in our next video.